NeverAwake is a perfect example of why I love indie games so much. Let me just go on a rant real quick. So currently I'm playing both Death Stranding and Hogwarts Legacy with the intention of reviewing both of them, and let me tell you, what a task. If you played either of them, you know how dense these games are, even though they're both great so far. But anyways, the point is, yesterday I got a little bonus at work and I was like, you know what, man, let me treat myself to some bite-sized content. And that's when I stumbled upon NeverAwake. Immediately upon boot up, it was like a breath of fresh air. No hand-holding, no bloatware, just pure gaming. So I decided, you know what? In the interim, while I'm working on reviews for the other two games I mentioned, let me tell you why I binged this game in one night. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're feeling extra naughty, go ahead and hit that bell notification. Let's get to it. NeverAwake sees you playing as the protagonist who, you guessed it, is never awake. You as the player are tasked with fighting through her various nightmares on the road to wake her up? Question mark? I say question mark because I completely ignored the story after a few chapters, but I did look up a synopsis of the story, and I guess it has some emotional value to it, being that she's asleep due to her parents fighting all the time or some shit like that. But I'll be honest, the way that it's delivered is the weakest part of the game by far. Luckily, the meat and potatoes of this adventure is stellar. Now, most of us have played a twin-stick shooter in our life, and there's not going to be anything groundbreaking for the genre here, but developer Neotro Inc. did add a few twists that I think will be enticing to longtime fans of the genre, as well as newcomers alike. First off, as opposed to killing every enemy on the screen, you're tasked with collecting 100% of your soul meter in order to advance levels, meaning that you'll want to focus on bigger enemies or certain mobs of enemies to net you the most gain before the level loops again in order to get the highest score possible. On top of all of that, the souls you gather get accumulated to purchase extremely useful and various unlocks that keep the game fresh, but also unfortunately a little bit too easy. Now, I know someone might say, well, you don't have to use the power-ups, but fuck it, if it's in the game, I'm gonna use it. Luckily for players who breeze through the game like myself, there are some extremely fun in-game challenges that add a ton of replayability, or at the very least a few hours of gameplay. There's about 80 levels spread over 8 chapters and roughly 16 bosses, and for $24 I felt 100% satisfied with what was offered. Altogether, the game was a fucking blast from beginning to end, and like I said in the beginning, I actually binged this game because I just couldn't put the controller down. From the extremely bizarre art style and the addicting as hell gameplay loops, I cannot recommend this game enough. There were a few points that dropped this game from becoming one of the absolute greats, that being the story did not draw me in at all due to how it was told, the music was basically just serviceable, and I wish there would have been more bosses like the final two. But in a world full of bloated AAA games, NeverAwake is proving that when games focus on fun, consumers win. It's an 8 out of 10, take it or leave it. Thanks for watching.